what came to me today to talk about was kind of interesting. It was a mess. It was like three chords all tangled up. They were three separate themes. They seemed to be contradictory, and then as I was untangling them and carefully wrapping them, I realized they were all the same theme. Does that ever happen to you? You realize that there is actually some kind of pattern in your thoughts? So the first thing that happened to me was I had this statement come in: get over yourself. And what I meant by that is when we are in a 3D, I think of the mastodons in the tar pit, thrashing around, trapped by 3D reality, trapped by the normal five senses understanding of what life is. And we become very obsessed because there's going to be a test, right? We're trained from the time we were very, very young to seek approval from our parents. Some of us did it because if you got approval from your parents, you'd get cuddles and, paid. My grandmother always giving me $20 if I'd been a good girl. Or you had monster parents, and it meant that you weren't going to be slapped against a wall. So either route leads us into this place of giving ourselves the first test. So it's like programmed learning. It's like you go to kindergarten and you're coloring inside the lines, and grade 1, you're starting to get the addition sheets. So we are in a state where we give ourselves the first test. So we monitor ourselves to see if we did well enough. And what's so interesting about this test is it's so individual for each person. One person doesn't even have in their testing criteria a clean house. Another person doesn't even have in their criteria a healthy savings account. Many people in our culture now don't have in their criteria a healthy, fit body. But whatever your criteria is, you are testing yourself based on that list of expectations. So if I'm a creative, I may be prejudging myself as to how creative I have been. This is really funny. It's like taking a meter stick to air. How creative are you? Sometimes just in my head. So we pre-test ourselves in order to prevent failure, pain, being shunned, being extradited, sent to a country where we can be properly punished. And then we sit and wait for the outside world to judge us. It won't be so bad because the people I have in my group judge a dirty house and my house is tidy. Or it won't be so bad because the people I hang around with that create my cohort bubble of reality feel that having a healthy, fit body is a sign of someone who is fulfilling the assignment. Oh, I got that covered. It's actually absurd when you look at it, our pre-testing ourselves. Because as you pre-test yourself, as you judge yourself, as you look at yourself with a checklist, as you put on just your underwear and stand in from front of a mirror with a threefold mirror behind you and look at all sides of yourself. You're in a place where you're judging yourself only by your own criteria. And it's very upsetting because criteria shifts. If you look at fashion through the ages, a woman was considered very beautiful if she looked like an adolescent boy in the 1400s. And then you got to the 50s where the woman's body looked like a nursing mother who still had a bit of a baby bump left. So how do you keep up with your criteria and the cultural criteria when it's constantly shifting? I posted the other day on Facebook, which I was examining my thoughts. When I grew up, it was considered salacious if you went to church with your skin out on your hands. And as I'm watching the current fashion, I'm seeing all of these extremely emaciated actresses who have a plunging neckline which shows me every single rib in their body. And being from the 50s, I'm just like, that person needs more soup. But we're in a place right now that is, like I call it, where we are right now is like on a bad acid trip. I've been there in the 60s. What is this place? What does it mean? Why is that wall moving? When I thought that thing was solid and I find out it isn't. And I thought that politician was solid and I find out they're corrupt. And I found out that source of news was solid and I find out it's just a total lie. And so it makes it really hard for us to be in a place where we can protect ourselves. It was easier in the 50s. If you were born white, you didn't have to worry about being lynched. The criteria did not shift because we weren't in a system failure moment. And right now we're in system failure. It's all falling in. And it's kind of like a sci-fi movie, like, I'm going to find this place for my sanctuary. This is my 3D sanctuary. As long as I'm in this structure, I am safe. And where most of us have gotten to is our homes. Our homes are our protected place. Nothing can happen to me here because I paid my mortgage. And then we look at LA and we hear that next to the coast of Oregon, a new volcano is growing up under the sea, which is threatening to erupt. And we know that the entire west coast of North America is going to crack and slip and things will fall in. What do you do when things are falling in? Our old system of security and safety, our old system of monitoring ourselves to make sure that we don't get sent to the principal's office. I did everything right. My hand was up. I got the assignment in on time. I got good marks. Nothing can happen to me. And so this system is falling in. And what are we left with? It's such a choose your own adventure time right now. We're being asked to look at not how can I serve a system? How can I serve the patriarchy? How can I find a place where I am so good there will be no lesson, there will be no negative, there will be no struggle? And we've come to understand that never happens. We're on earth, there's going to be a lesson, there's going to be struggle. One of the things I noticed the other day as I was observing myself, as I do relentlessly, is how I feel like I have to have a necessity of fighting myself. And it's really interesting. It used to be work addiction. So I was fighting against time. I was fighting against producing. I was fighting against being judged as someone who deserved respect. And I, over the years, have worked with many of those issues. But I'm thinking to myself, I am so frequently at peace and calm and happy with who I am right now, but I always find something to irritate me. You know, the burr end of the saddle, baby. And I thought, why do I have that? And I came to the revelation that it's my habit of assessing myself as either a dangerous person who is not predictable and a safe person who is predictable in doing all the right things. That's left over from my childhood. So you think you've got the lights on, you go around the corner and it's dark again, and then you turn the flashlight on and you go, oh my God, there's another thing. So I was thinking, this is really interesting. Maybe I need to get over myself. Maybe I need to just drop the idea of being perfect, of achieving some kind of security and safety, some kind of support by not being human. Do you think? Just asking you if you think that might be a problem. So the work I have to do now is I have to realize that even if I did the thing that is irritating me because I'm not doing it, I will find something else that is that is irritating me because I'm not doing it. Because for some reason, I need to have this sense of incompletion, this sense of struggle, this sense of keeping myself under tight control. And the reason is because I did not want to become like my parents, who had no control. Talk about tight control. They got to work, but that was about it. So I am in a place now where I have to really increase the amount of acceptance I have for myself. Right now, you are as God made you, as Spirit made you. You are put on the earth for a purpose. It doesn't matter if you are achieving 110 goals. It doesn't matter if today you weren't able to mark off 15 things on your accomplishments chart. I just need to get the hell over myself and pet my cat. Todd reminds me, he does not have a sense of self. He does not sit on the back deck in a kind of Voltairean intellectual dissection of his being and what he's going to do next. He is just living. And wow, that's a pretty cool thing to achieve. So I wanted to share that with you today. Yes, it's falling apart, but going into the shelter that was built in people's backyards in the 1950s for the imminent atomic bomb is not going to protect us from the lesson. We're in a place where we are just stark nude swimming in an Arctic lake. We don't know what's under the water. So what do? We come to rely on spirit. We come to rely on our own ability to stay calm and to stay in a state of love with ourselves and with other people. So that's what I had to say today. I think I made sense. I'm never quite sure, but I'm not going to assess it. Thank you so much for subscribing. Subscribe now if you haven't subscribed before. Get a hold of me for a channel psychic reading. My channel is so clear. I was sitting in this chair in 2016 and my channel told me, get ready, the world is going to hell. And I heard it. So it's time to prepare your spiritual strength. And I'm just like, okay. And I hear it. It's a voice. So get a hold of me. Let me do a reading for you. Maybe sort of make it easier for you to find a way to get through this collapse, through this destruction, through the falling away of everything that we believed before, so that light could break out, so that the new system could break out, so we can be in a place where we're fearlessly loving ourselves and other people. Yay, that's a challenge. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for your comments. And I appreciate you.